You guys, I am very excited to share with you two stories about how our stinking thinking can get in our way, specifically when it comes to valuing our products and services and asking for what is possible. And I stay away from the words what we deserve or what we are worth because I don't think that we should equate what we charge for our products and services to what we are worth. But it's really about possibility. And the first story is actually, it was really painful when it happened, but I was having dinner with the former CEO of a $1 billion organization. And he is a friend of mine. We are, I don't know how to describe it. Like, we have just like a very convivial relationship and come together and talk about a lot of different things: life, children, business, for sure. And I met him at one of my speaking gigs. And as I said, he was the CEO of a $1 billion organization and had grown it to that point. So he clearly knew what he was doing. He was also consulting with a very well-known organization called Zappos, and even suggested at that dinner that perhaps I could coach Tony Hsieh. And at the time, my head was spinning because I was like, what? Me? And that was the first inkling that, oh, I was limiting my own possibilities for myself in my head that other people saw as possibilities for me and could hold that vision for me even when I couldn't hold it for myself. So that was big. But the second big thing that came that was quite painful was, this was shortly after I had Charlotte. And a lot of you know, if you've watched any of these videos, I experienced postpartum depression. He did not know that at the time. And he was just asking about business and what I was doing. And I said, probably in a very victim-y way, I was like, well, I just want to make, enough money to cover my childcare. Like, that's $3,000 a month. And he literally, like, what felt like ripped me a new one at dinner, like sitting there in the restaurant, and I cried. And because he basically shot down that small stinking thinking immediately, and was like, I can't believe you're thinking that small. What are you doing? You need to be thinking so much bigger than that. And his response felt so painful because I was so stuck in my little, like, I need to make $3,000 a month just so I can cover childcare. And that I was defensive and took it personally. And yes, was depressed. So there's that. And I got really mad at him and didn't speak to him for a long time. And today I'm actually going to call him and tell him that he was right. Annoyingly. I hate it when that happens, but I also love it. So that was the first thing that really exploded my consciousness around, oh my gosh, there is a much bigger game to play if I'm willing to play it, but I have to show up to play it on a completely different level from what is right here in front of me. And then the second experience that was, I think, more humorous and lighthearted, but equally massive in its impact, was I was sometime after that walking with a friend, and we were talking about some of my last consulting gigs, and she asked me how much I would charge for said project. And I said, I think like $60,000. And this is for a lot of work, right? A lot of work that makes a lot of money for the client. And she said, and she's British, and I'm going to be butchering her accent here, but she said, oh, Lauren, is there any worse sum of money than $60,000? And in fact, she might have even said, is there any sadder sum of money than $60,000? That makes it even better. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're so right. Like, 60,000 is so sad. Like, for a body of work that does so much for the client, it needs to be so much more. And I remembered those two interactions today while I was on the phone with one of my friends, mentors, and a certified facilitator of the Joy Money Matrix, Shannon Hernandez. And we were talking about being stuck around money, and we were talking about parsing, like, why is that? What why do we get stuck with like this $1,000 or being obsessed with this $3,000? And I think it's because it takes like literally exploding out of that smallness to realize that you can have more. And, you know, that can come from a crisis of confidence, for sure. That has happened to me in my life, where I'm afraid to ask for more. But I think the bigger piece of that, what keeps us in the small stinking thinking, is like fear for our very survival. We think, oh, if I can only get this, then I'll be okay. Like, I'll survive. And so you stick with that small thing because it feels more comfortable. Like, but in fact, it's becoming a comfortable prison. And I couldn't really articulate that for myself until I remembered those two specific anecdotes about my own process. And, you know, I'm standing at the precipice of launching the new Joy Money Matrix box into the world this weekend. And I told someone what my goal is, and I'm going to say it out loud here. I'd like to sell 1,000 of those boxes in the next 18 months. And that's a big number. And it's so much more exciting and light than trying to sell 100. Like 100 is like so depressing to me. So I think that my point is with these two stories is to think, where are we focusing on sad numbers? Where are we focusing on things that we have no business holding our possibility to this small little box, this small little number? And imagine the voice in your head of my friend. Oh, that's the saddest number I've ever heard. Is there a sadder number in the world than $60,000? You know, so be that for yourself. If you need to find someone else to help you, like, show them this video, and then you guys put your heads together and say, okay, what is a not sad number? And now I'm going to go for it. And I'm so fired up, and I'm just going to do it and make it happen. I think that's a better place to be than worrying and staying in that like survival fear mode of, I just need to make 1,000. Cool. Thanks for hanging. Peace.